Alright, so I just got back from the coin dealer, and I had like 257 ounces total of these little buffalo on one side, Indian head on the other side, that in the back of my mind I've been always wanting to get rid of and get silver eagles in place. Second place to that would be maple leafs, and then of course first place is the eagles. So I also didn't want to, I needed to figure out how to go to the coin dealer and not get back more than $10,000. That wasn't happening. So I had eagles. They only wanted to pay spot price for the eagles, even though eagles can still bring $4+ per ounce, you know, premium. They only want to give you spot. But for anything that's not an eagle, they'll give you $1 under spot for. So I had these old Indian heads I bought back, I think the price was $18.79. Matter of fact, I got those at probably $16. But you know, back in my mind, you never really know for sure what can happen. But all the signs point one way. I told you the market crash is imminent. It's coming. Looks like the end of October should be taking effect. Here it is. Greece blowout. Oh, that's okay. They're not going to do a referendum. They're not going to do the vote. Now all of a sudden, all eyes are on Italy. They're back to 450 basis points, I guess, on their bonds. That's like the point of no return. Up, crisis is back. The CME group comes out Friday to talk about putting this margin increase 100% basically now across the board for like just about every single commodity out there, which also would include silver. Now I've read some. My wife called me to tell me some of your comments on the way back, and you're saying no, you know, you should still you shouldn't have sold it. You should still just buy more, just buy more. And I agree. You know, it's hard to come off that silver. You're talking to Mr. Silver here. Man, I'll sell, you know, something else before I sell freaking silver. Even if I have to take a beating on that something else. I just, you know. But this, to me, could be an opportunity of a lifetime again, which I've only come across this once really before when it was crashed down to $10 and I took massive advantage of that. Could we see another crashing of silver and gold? Or I don't know what gold would go to, but silver, $10, $8, $15, God knows where. Can you imagine? Let me just throw out $10 silver real quick. Now, just so you know, I told you I'm getting ready to sell half my silver. And then, of course, I thought, well, I brought most of that with me to the coin dealer, and then realized I can't get out of here for less than $10,000. They're going to have to report this to the IRS. When I go to cash the check at the bank, they're going to have to report it, etc. I don't want to deal with that nonsense. And safety feature kicking in. Just sell the 257 Buffalo Eagle deals you had, Indian heads. That came out to $8,400, $8,400. They gave me $33 per coin. Again, $1 under spot, $34 spot. And I said, you know, that's fine. Because if we see $10 silver come next week, whatever, and I've got $8,400, we'll just call it $8,500, I only need to come up with $1,500 out of my bank account or cash, whatever, which is easy, to give me $10,000. $10 an ounce silver times 1,000 ounces, 1,000 ounces of silver at $10 is $10,000. Do you mean to tell me I can have 1,000 ounces of silver and I just unloaded 250 something, and all I have to do is come up with $1,500 out of my pocket, and I can have, on top of whatever I have right now left that I didn't sell, of course, which is a lot more than I sold, I'll have that too. Are you kidding me? This is a risk that I'm taking. And I appreciate your comments telling me, no, you shouldn't have sold, you should have just stayed. You know, it's going to go back up, you'll ride it on the way up. I understand, you're right. And that is sound advice. I called quite a few people today. Only one of them is going to sell a little bit of theirs too. About 25% of what they have, I think. Because he found someone local in his area where he can sell it. That's fine. But I'm seeing the signs, CME group, raising margins. They didn't just do it for silver this time. They did it across the freaking board. You know, We may be at DEFCON 1 for the markets right now, this weekend. Remember the WebBot? There's going to be a weekend sometime around the 17th or 18th of October where big news, whatever. Can't wait to see what happens on the markets on Monday. Just everyone's going to be, what are the markets going to do? And there's a few little interesting things out of Europe, and we scratched our head and said, you know, was that it? Could that have been it? Well, not really. I mean, yeah, but no, there's just not really that market anticipation. How about this? How about what just happened Friday night, yesterday, today Saturday? CME Group to raise the margin requirements on everything 100%. Oh, except treasury bonds. You want some paper treasuries? United States backed by the United States government. You want some of those? We'll make it real easy. Let me give you an example. And by the way, if I'm wrong on this, and all of a sudden, for some reason, silver just goes up next week, I'm going to put my mouth up to the camera like this, and you guys can pretend to punch me in the mouth for doing it. And I'll accept it. But there is always risk involved with everything. And I may be able to capitalize on this little risk. And I even felt bad going down to the coin dealer, knowingly giving him these things that he may take a beating on. About that kind of stuff. So I had to tell him what I was thinking, and he didn't care and still wanted to buy them. So I got a little relief there. Man, I wish I'd get over this little cold. I don't even really have a cold. I don't feel sick. Man, let me find this comment. This is good stuff. Here it is. A 2-year note, treasury note, $500 margin fee, and it's a $200,000 contract. You know, if you played the futures game or whatever, it's leveraged. It's $200,000 worth of paper, treasury note. You only have to have $500 for the margin fee, which is 0.25%, a quarter of 1%. Okay? Silver, 5,000 ounces is one futures contract. $18,500. $18,500 margin fee. Did I just tell you the 2-year treasury note was only $500 margin? Silver, standard contract, $18,500. Now, the 2-year note for $500 margin, the entire amount that's worth, technically, right, $200,000. That's what you're playing with. The silver is $170,000. Yet, it's 10.8% as opposed to 0.25% margin, etc. What is that telling you? Stay away from gold. Stay away from silver. That's not money. You sheeple. Get away from that. Get away from there. And come on over here. We're going to make it so easy you can't resist getting into these treasury bonds. You only need $500 margin fee. You can get in and come on in. We want that. If that's not a telltale sign of where gold and silver is fixing to be going, and I don't mean going like what I'm hoping Monday and Tuesday where they crash so I can go capitalize. I'm talking longer term, a little bit longer term, major numbers for gold and silver. And the 2-year note taking a dump. He says, I find it, after reading the post here on what these clowns at the CME Group are doing, I decided to do a little research on margin histories for silver versus the 2-year note, which is what I was just telling you about. I find it fascinating that the CME Group is lowering margins on the 2-year treasury note, which is what I just showed you, futures, but raising them on silver and, of course, everything else. If you take a look at the post, you will see that silver margins have not been lowered since the price declined, which they should, but instead are still being increased. Remember, $50 silver, smashed it with the margin hike, CME Group, JP Morgan's company, drops it down to $32, back to $35, back to $38, $39, $40, and they come out of nowhere at $40, well, $43, $42, whatever. Come out of nowhere, margin hike for silver. What do you mean margin hike for silver? It's not even back to the 50 when you raise up these 5-6 margin hikes in a row? The hell you guys doing? What do you mean margin hike at 40? We're not even back to 50. And of course, what happens? Massive sell-off. We're down to $30 silver, $27 silver during the night, right? 26, 27. We're back to 33, 34, 35 in a matter of days. Uh-oh. Silver's raising too quick. It's above JP Morgan stock price, for God's sakes. Today, Saturday, which market closed yesterday, it's above JP Morgan stock price. You kidding me? Can't have that. You can't have that. Why not? You know the rules. Margin hike, CME group, kick it in. And they did. And boy, did they do it this time. I have no idea what the hell is going to happen next week. Where the, especially commodities markets, are going to be. We could see utter devastation across the board. Oil, sugar, orange juice, coffee beans, everything you can trade, silver, gold, metals, all that stuff could take a severe beating. And by the chance of whatever, maybe not. Maybe not. But what has happened every time they raise these margin hikes, these margin fees? Massive sell-off. Even if you have the cash, you're a big guy, a real institution, whatever, you've got the cash to sit in there and wait. You already know there's going to be a massive sell-off from the day traders, the small traders, the medium traders, right, these speculators. I have no choice but to liquidate my account or I'm going to take a beating anyway, so I'll just sell it off now. With the stampeding herd, basically, based off of what the CME group did. So they all get out of it, then there's a new bottom, they start to get back in again. Slowly but surely, price starts going back up. And the same thing happens. You have to understand what's going on in this game to make moves. I'm not one to normally play I'm not a day trader, let me get in there. But man, for God's sakes, if I just sold 257 ounces of silver, and all I have to do is come up with $1,500 to give me a total of $10,000, and we see them smash commodities just crazy this week, and we see $10 silver. I'm just throwing that number out there. I don't have a reason for giving you 10, but I'm just saying. $10 silver. I just bought another 1,000 ounces of silver. Are you freaking kidding me? Off of a 257 ounce sell-off that I did on Saturday? What? Sure, I know we should be stacking silver, and I do. I've got most of it still sitting here. I've decided to not go crazy, and that's what I've done. So, I mean, honestly, it doesn't get any better than this if this takes place. If it doesn't take place, and I'm sitting here on Monday and Tuesday, silver's 35, 36, 37, I guess whatever. They said you had till Monday morning to comply, and I guess everyone complied in the markets somehow, and the silvers didn't get touched. Yet, silver's up and down daily with the markets up, silver's up, markets down, silver's down. That's not going to happen this time? Now, granted, I would be pissed off if I called this right, and then all of a sudden, we find that basically, great, $10 silver, call Atmex, place my order, whoever, give me some coins. Oh, we're all out, we don't have any, we're not taking orders right now. We can't even lock you in, huh? But this is JSNIP 4, you can't hook it, nothing? Now you have to wait. And then when I wait, silver's $50 again. We got some in. Yeah, but it's $50 now. I sold off at 33. It's a risk JSNIP 4 is taking. I told you all, when I make my moves, I would share the information with you guys. I didn't have to tell you jack crap today. But I am, because I did what I did. And I wanted to let you know. So, all I can say is, let's see what happens to these markets, especially the commodities markets, across the board. Gold, silver, and any other commodity, basically. Let's see what happens. And see if old JSNIP 4 made the right move and let his people on YouTube know that they had an opportunity to do it. Not many acted. And I can't blame you. It's not a bad thing not to act if you already have your silver and you're a little nervous. But I had plenty and said, well, let me take a little piece of that out and see what happens. As a safety precaution, I couldn't sell even half of it. I couldn't. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys right now. I got to go eat because I'm starving. Like Marvin.